The movie begins with Josh and Sophia, a married couple and healthcare workers, arriving in Colombia for a conference. On the surface, they seem fine, but in reality, their marriage is falling apart. They've decided to divorce but haven't told their mutual friend, Marcos. Unaware of their situation, Marcos books them a single hotel room. The moment they're alone, frustration boils over into an argument. Sophia storms out, and they spend the evening avoiding each other. At dinner, the tension is obvious, and Marcos picks up on it. Finally, Josh confesses they're splitting up. Marcos is shocked, but Josh quickly changes the subject to their hiking plans for tomorrow, hoping to ease the mood. Yet, the air remains heavy. As they sit together, pretending everything is fine, one thing is clear: this trip will test them in ways they never expected. Come morning, Sophia decides to join the hike to clear her mind. However, Marcos cancels at the last minute, leaving just her and Josh. Though hesitant, she agrees to let him come, knowing hiking alone in an unfamiliar place is risky. At the reception, they ask for directions. The receptionist provides a map, pointing out a long, winding trail. A shorter route is also marked, but he warns them to avoid it. It's too dangerous, even for locals. Josh, confident in his hiking skills, considers taking the shortcut, but Sophia refuses. She's not willing to risk encountering the snakes the area is known for. They begin their climb along the safer path, moving through the dense forest, enjoying the sights and sounds of nature. Suddenly, Josh notices dark storm clouds rolling in. Not wanting to get caught in bad weather, he convinces Sophia to turn back. As they reach their car, they freeze someone is trying to break into it. The couple quickly hides, but Josh decides to confront the thief. It's a mistake. The thief pulls out a gun. Thinking fast, Josh strikes first, giving him and Sophia a chance to escape. They sprint into the forest as bullets fly past them. Sophia is furious at Josh for playing the hero, but there's no time to argue. Rain pours heavily, making their escape harder. Their pursuer is gaining on them, so they make a desperate choice to take the dangerous path the receptionist had warned about, hoping their pursuer won't follow. In their rush, they get separated. Sophia stumbles, hitting her head. Dizzy and disoriented, she unknowingly steps into quicksand. The rain has made it thick and deep, trapping her instantly, a metaphor for her crumbling relationship. Panic sets in, and she screams for Josh. Hearing her cries, he rushes back. He tries pulling her out, but she sinks deeper. Thinking fast, he grabs a sturdy branch, extending it toward her. Josh extends the branch to Sophia, but it snaps, making her panic. She struggles, sinking deeper until the quicksand engulfs her completely. Terrified, Josh leaps in after her, ignoring the danger. Somehow, he manages to pull her head above the surface, allowing her to breathe. Though he has saved her life, they are both trapped with no help in sight. Josh warns her to stay still, knowing movement will only make things worse. He recalls survival tips from guidebooks but frustratingly can't remember how to escape. As he tries to think, Sophia notices an egg resting on the quicksand without sinking. Inspired, she suggests spreading her body flat to increase surface area and float. Josh is doubtful, but she insists. As she shifts, she feels something beneath the mud. Alarmed, she asks Josh to help pull it out. Expecting a log or an animal, they instead reveal a human corpse, someone who likely starved to death. Josh's belief that quicksand isn't lethal is instantly shattered. Their situation is now even more dire. Josh and Sophia find a backpack on the corpse. They take it and push the body back into the quicksand, unable to keep looking at it. Inside, they find random items: a book, a harmonica, a broken flashlight, a knife, and a shotgun with 2 rounds left. The most useful thing is the backpack itself. Josh suggests cutting it into strips to create a lasso and hook a nearby tree stump. Sophia is unsure, but they have no other choice. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, Marcos grows uneasy about his friend's absence. He listens to Josh's voicemail about their hike but can't shake a bad feeling. His instincts prove right when he spots a shabby man entering the hotel carrying Sophia's backpack. It's the thief who chased them. Marcos confronts him but freezes when he notices a bloodstain on the man's chest. As the thief tries to escape, Marcos tackles him. A gun slips from the thief's clothes. Before Marcos can act, hotel employees intervene, restraining them both. At this time, deep in the forest, Sophia and Josh struggle to create a rope from their backpack, hoping to hook it onto a tree stump. Unfortunately, Josh is no Indiana Jones, and their rope is too short. Frustration sets in until a helicopter suddenly appears overhead. They scream and wave frantically, but the dense trees block them from view. Josh gives up, but Sophia refuses to let this chance slip away. She desperately tries to start a fire, but everything is too damp to burn. In desperation, she considers lighting the rope, but Josh stops her. If the helicopter still doesn't see them, they will lose their only hope. As they argue, the helicopter disappears, leaving them crushed. Desperate, Sophia suggests cutting up their jackets to extend the rope, but Josh refuses. It could mean freezing to death. He clings to hope that Marcos will find them, but Sophia's pessimism makes it difficult. Suddenly, Sophia feels sharp stings. Ants have crawled onto her shoulder, biting ruthlessly. She panics, flailing in pain as red welts form on her skin. Josh quickly hands her a bottle of vodka, urging her to pour it over the bites. The alcohol works as a repellent, driving the ants away. Breathing heavily, Sophia and Josh stare at each other, their survival uncertain. Their only choice now is to hold on and wait for rescue. After the situation calms down, Sophia glances at the vodka bottle and has a realization: if she drinks, maybe it'll repel the real pest, Josh. She had assumed he was sober, but he admits he relapsed due to the stress of their divorce. Trapped in this life-threatening situation, along with the weight of their failed relationship, emotions run high. They try to stay composed, but tears well up in their eyes. In the midst of their conversation, Sophia suddenly remembers the gun. They could have fired a shot to signal the helicopter, but now it's too late, and regret sinks in. With nothing left to do, she starts cutting the shotgun strap to extend their rope. But Josh dismisses the attempt, knowing it won't be long enough. He insists they wait for Marcos, but Sophia refuses to rely on him entirely. They are too deep in the forest to depend on one person. As they argue, a snake slithers toward Josh from behind. They freeze, hoping it will pass, but it keeps creeping closer. Josh can't move, so Sophia must act. She struggles to free her arm and lift the gun. But by the time she pulls the trigger, it's too late. The snake has already bitten Josh's hand before escaping. Fear grips them both. The situation has just become even more dangerous. Sophia quickly ties a rope around Josh's arm, but the venom is already spreading. He has only 6 hours before his life is in danger. Meanwhile, in a jail cell, Marcos sits with the thief who stole from him. Desperate, he offers his heirloom watch in exchange for information about his friends. The thief confesses he didn't kill them, but their survival is unlikely. They ran into a place filled with quicksand and venomous snakes. Marcos yells at the police, begging to be released, but they ignore him. Back in the forest, Josh's condition worsens as the venom spreads, forming a blood clot on his neck. He is on the verge of giving up, but Sophia refuses to let him die. She grabs a knife and cuts into the clot to prevent a stroke. Josh faints from the pain, and Sophia collapses from exhaustion. An hour later, they wake up. Josh feels slightly better, but he is still in danger. With no rescue in sight, their survival depends on pushing forward. Sophia is determined to save her husband from the quicksand and get him treated. Desperate, she devises a new plan, killing the snake and using its body as a rope. She throws objects to lure the snake closer, but when it sneaks up behind her, she misses her final shots. Tossing the gun aside, she grabs a knife, but before she can strike, the snake coils around her neck, choking her. As she struggles, Josh musters his last bit of strength and stabs the snake in a swift motion, killing it. Wasting no time, Sophia skins the snake and ties its skin to the rope, making it long enough to wrap around a tree stump. She climbs out quickly and reaches for Josh, but he's too weak to grab her hand. The venom has paralyzed him, leaving Sophia in a desperate fight against time. With no other choice, Sophia stumbles through the forest, her body weak, desperate to find help for Josh. As night falls, she finally reaches the road in a delirious state. By a stroke of luck, Marcos arrives with an ambulance and a search team, who rush into the forest to find Josh. Sophia watches anxiously, hoping for good news. The film ends on a hopeful note as Josh is carried out on a stretcher alive and conscious. Overwhelmed with relief, Sophia steps forward and kisses him. This ordeal may finally mark a fresh start for them, leaving behind past grudges and embracing a new chapter together.